All right, we're back. Another episode of EggCellent Adventures with Reese right here from Media Campus West. We have a very special guest on the line. This woman is coming all the way from down under Queensland, Australia, Gold Coast, by way of South Africa. I just found that out too. Did I get my research right?
Indeed, I am impressed.
Okay, cool. We met on Facebook. I love some of the initiatives that you're pushing and trying to help with pet rescue and stuff like that. I thought that was really amazing. But our research team found out that you're on 12 acres and have pet chickens.
Yes, I have pet chickens.
Cool. And this is Des. We have Des on the line right now. I want to know, like, what was your cluck moment? What was the moment you realized, I'm a chicken mama? You got pet chickens.
Okay, so I've always been, since I was a little girl, been a bit of a, I suppose, animal person. I've always had interesting pets. I've had horses, all sorts. So when we've moved around the world a lot, to be honest, and when we moved back to Australia, we got a few backyard chickens. Mm-hmm. We were living in just regular suburbia and didn't work out all that well with local bird life attacking our chickens. So we kind of shelved that. And then when we bought our house on this acreage, we decided, and it came with the chicken coop. So it was meant to be. We decided to get chickens again. And the first flock I got was from Gold Coast Chooks. They were 3 rescue hens that I got, and then I got another 3 rescue hens that were they came from an egg farm. Mm-hmm. So the second 3 girls, oh goodness, they were oven ready naked.
And they had some of those. Yep.
Yeah. So some of the girls couldn't walk. They didn't really know how to be a chicken. So we did quite a bit with them. Did some chicken physiotherapy and made them little pajamas, and wasn't long before they just became regular free-range chickens.
Gotcha. I love that. Hold on now. Those who are listening can't see it, but can you, like, what were the chicken exercises? You like move their feet around, or what was going on with that?
Okay, so we would use from first aid kits, the triangular bandages you get in first aid kits that you usually make a sling out of?
Yes.
That was like the perfect shape to just wrap under their bodies and like lift up. And then we would just hold them and their feet just on the ground and kind of just shuffle them along so that they would learn to use their muscles to walk. Their little drumsticks, as I call them, we would massage them and things like that just for a few days. It didn't take long before they were up and about.
I love that. You guys have really got a whole West Wing General Hospital going on over there and all of that stuff. And you say you made some sweaters for them. I'm sure because, like, with mine, they didn't have a lot of feathers either. Like, they didn't have a lot that we got as rescues either.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it was really easy just with a bit of just fleece fabric, just a little piece of fabric with a hole in the middle, and it just with a hole for the head, you put it over, and then we just clipped it at the back on either side of the tail. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was really, really easy.
And I know
you
those
could do
girls.
it with a stapler as well. You didn't even need a sewing machine. So it was
cool. Let's work.
Easy.
I like that. You jumped right into it and became a whole chicken nurse, doctor, and everything.
I love having my girls. My girls are they're absolute characters, and we have them as free range. We've got 12 acres and it's mostly bushland, and where we live, everyone's on an acreage, so it's really quiet. The neighbors are tolerant. My girls, they wander all over the show. They go back to the coop at night though.
Okay, so they have 12 acres just to roam free and come back at night. Now, here, and excuse my ignorance on any question, right? Because I've never been to Australia. I only had a couple of friends that have lived there and they loved it on contract work, right? But you hear about all of the different predators in Australia, like everything can eat you. So talk to me about keeping them safe.
Okay, so it is a little unfortunate that we do have, especially where I live, there are wild foxes around.
Mm,
Um, and snakes. Unfortunately, I've lost a few girls and some of my guinea fowl as well, and some of my quail I've lost to pythons. So foxes, they were introduced long time ago, I guess, for hunting,
yes.
and then just became feral, and they are considered a pest.
Mm.
Yeah, so they will, if you're not careful, they will make it into your chicken coop and they will kill for sport. They won't just take a chook and leave it at that. They will
Wow.
kill them all.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, we don't have many foxes where we are, but there is one fox that comes into I have like an enclosed area. So he'll
Yes.
like run and dart around the gate until my dogs figure out what's going on, and then they kind of run him off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We also have birds here, like magpies and butcher birds, which are in the raven family.
Mm-hmm.
They will, they'll get chicks, like small chicks. They will kill them and peck out their eyes. And butcher,
So you
it's
saw my face,
unfortunate.
right? You're like, what?
Oh yeah, it's a little sad. So when we have had chicks, we've built a fairly large aviary that we kept our quails in, and if we had a hen with chicks, we would just keep them closed in the aviary until the chicks were large enough to kind of be left alone by the butcher birds.
Butcher birds. That is the most Australian thing I've heard my whole life. Butcher birds. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a black and white bird or a grey and white bird. It's got
Mhm.
a long sharp beak, very similar to a crow and a raven. It's the same family.
Mhm.
Yeah, and clever
Wow.
bird.
So we usually ask too, how did you get into it? But you kind of mentioned it as a young, when you were younger, you grew up with animals and you liked animals. What was the animal that kind of made you fall in love with farm life?
Oh goodness, that's hard to say. I can't really say it was just a moment that stands out. I guess just who we are, being people who love to be outdoors and love nature and love animals. When we did get an opportunity to just expand our pet collection, really just didn't really think too much about it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I do know of a lot of people who live on acreages who have pet chickens and guinea pigs and the whole lot, and it's just something that's always been with us. To us, it's normal.
I love it. That's what I was going to ask too. Is it pretty normal? Because here, I guess farming isn't very normal. It's not widespread, but it is. It seems to be gaining popularity with like homesteading and people at least having some chickens or growing some plants. So is that more normal there?
Um, Gosh, I'm not too sure. Like living on an acreage, well, over here, a big plot of land is called an acreage. Most people live on an acreage not necessarily for any agricultural purposes other than to just have space. Um, so I guess that there isn't really much of a motivation to have livestock or animals, or most people just do it like for hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Will grow whatever veggie, have a veggie patch or whatever just as a hobby, and have whatever livestock for hobbies. Not really so much, I guess, anything more than that.
Got you. That's pretty much the same here.
Okay. It's also difficult to have livestock without a license where we are. So if you have, I used to have goats, but it was just too difficult to maintain licenses and all that. So we just let them go to a farm.
Okay, but I heard I heard guinea fowl, I heard quail and chicken. Do you know how many birds you have?
Oh, I'm afraid I've only got 9 left. We were hit with the tornado
Oh man.
Christmas night last year, and my aviary was damaged, I'm afraid. So a lot of my quails and my parakeets and my little finches, my zebra finches, all got out.
Oh no. Okay, I got you. I got you. Hopefully they'll find their way back.
Oh, look, it's probably
Yeah.
they'll close that chapter, and I think we might just stick with the hens we have. My husband and I both work full time.
Got you.
So, yeah, so it's probably just, we'll leave it as it is now.
I understand. But I know you said your neighbors are pretty quiet. They're pretty cool with everything. Do you bribe them with eggs? Because I bribe my neighbors with eggs.
I was actually going to ask you, you must be quite popular with your neighbors with eggs. I do give a lot of eggs away. I really do. Actually don't eat very many eggs ourselves.
Us neither. Now that we have chickens, like I used to love eggs. Now that I have chickens, I probably maybe once a week,
I did try a long time ago. I did try selling eggs to friends and that, but I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want my girls to feel like I was exploiting them. So I just rather give them away. And our neighbours, being an elderly population mostly, a lot of them have little hobby veggie patches and stuff. So my neighbours give me lettuce and sweet potatoes, lemons, things like that, and I give eggs.
There you go. I love the trading community.
Do you have the same?
Yes, I have the same. So our neighbors, one grew tomatoes and one had peppers. So we kind of like, trade off on different things. And one of my neighbors is just a really good neighbor. So I want to make sure they always have eggs, because my goats, or one time my pony got loose in their yard. So they're so cool. They're like, it's okay. She'll call me and say, hey, your pony's in my yard. I was like, she was like, you want me to bring her? Do you want to come get her? So.
Oh, I love that. I love that neighborly, that sort of tolerance, that just live and let live. We have a lot more of that living where we actually live in the city, but being on top of the hill and just where we are, we're quite fortunate that we happen to be surrounded by acreages. I don't know in the near future if this area will be rezoned for development, but for now we do have that sort of country bumpkin lifestyle, but yet we're in the city.
No, that's a good mix, though. I think that's a pretty good mix. I'm not far from the city, but we are, it's a little rural where we are, so it's more farm or more land between the houses.
That's nice. And what's your climate like where you are?
So today it was about almost 80 degrees today, and I'm in the south.
Oh,
so like
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Okay, so I know you like 80 degrees Celsius is 1,000,000 degrees. No, all right, so. Celsius, I don't even know how to convert that. They don't teach us that. but
we don't get
it's warm today. It's hot. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hot. It's like the summer here now.
Oh, right. We're going into autumn, so we have like days of 29, 30 degrees Celsius. So most places would consider it summer, but it's cooling down for us.
Okay.
Do you find that in the winter? Your girls, their laying goes down?
Yes. In the autumn, going into the winter, the laying starts to kill off. As the cooler it gets and the less sunlight we get, it starts to go down. So I was having a time where it might have been about maybe anywhere from 3 to 6 eggs a day, right?
Per chicken?
No, just total. And I think at that time I had about 24 birds, 3 to 6 eggs a day in the cooler in winter months. Now I'm probably getting about almost 20 eggs a day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And the sun is up a long time.
Are your chickens, are they all for egg production predominantly?
No, we have a couple of just lookers. We have a couple of pretty girls that don't earn their keep. Like, we don't really make ours work for it. We do have eggs. We do have eggs that people can buy, but for the most part, they're for trade and stuff like that. But we've got a couple of we got some good layers, like some Easter eggers. We have some mixes. I got some mystery chickens. I don't know what they are. So we have some of those. We have some Orpington chickens, and they're all layers. But I got some silkies about to hatch. They're terrible layers. They look great on camera, though. And we've got some Ayam some all black chickens, and they don't lay very well either, but they're cute little birds.
I have one chicken. Her name is Crinklebum.
I love it.
Her eggs are pretty much every single egg is very crinkly.
Mm.
That hence the name, and it's exceptionally large. And she lays an egg once every 2 days. It's not a double yolker,
Mm.
but it's exceptionally large. It's really long and pointy, and it's very crinkly. It's
Did
just
she
weird how
come?
she does.
Did she come from was that one of the rescue birds?
Crinkle, but no, she wasn't a rescue bird. We bought her from a livestock sort of, whatever you call them, corporation or something.
Gotcha.
We bought her as, no, I lie. This particular one we raised from day old that we
Okay.
bought because we had a broody hen and we couldn't get her out of the broodiness.
So you let her hatch a few?
Oh, that drives me bonkers sometimes because I've got two little Peking bantams.
Mm-hmm.
Freckles and Dumpling, they always go broody, and
Yeah.
it just does my head in. And it's so hard to get it out of them because I don't want to keep putting chicks under them, but it's just so hard to get it out of them.
It is. So we tried a few different methods for breaking broody hens. I had it because I play basketball, so I have all these little things that make like ice packs and stuff like this. I had this one little thing that made an ice ball.
Yes.
And we put the ice ball under this chicken. And after like a couple hours, she was like, I've had enough. I'm out of here. Because it was hot too. It was hot outside. They get more broody when it's hot. We put that ice ball under her. She was like, oh, no, that's it. She went and got some food and something to drink. And that was over with. She wasn't broody anymore. And then I have another one that's really broody all the time. So I have to separate her. Like I have to basically lock her out of the nesting boxes for like a whole day or two at a time, just so she's by the food and water, and it'll get her out of broodiness, because I've only been able to put eggs under her one time, and she has, it's so funny, she's an all red hen, but all her kids are pitch black because those are the Somanis that she hatched. So I was like, those aren't your real children, but you can't tell her that.
Yeah, no. That's cute. We've done similar things, like and we've noticed, like with the whatchamacallits, the bantams, they tend to go broodier a lot quicker than any other hen, but they are good little mother hens. But yeah, we've submerged their tummies and their legs in cool water and then kind of put them in isolation for a day or two to break that broodiness. I have noticed that there seemed to be a reduction in that broodiness time when I removed all corn from their feed mixture.
Okay.
I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but the corn in the mixture increases body temperature, which is good in the winter. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. I mean, it could just be my imagination.
No, I mean, it makes sense because, like you said, the corn does increase their body temp. So it may just put on that hormone and say, okay, it's time for me to hatch some babies. It's hot enough.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see how we go in the winter time. And the one bantam, she's a really good mum. That's Freckles, but Dumpling is terrible. We put chicks with her, and she just saw them the next morning and walked away and decided, that's it, I'm done.
So just hatch them and that's it. Somebody else's problem.
Yep.
So when that happens, do you guys set up a brooder, like have artificial heat and stuff for them?
We do have that. We do. But we've always got a hen that's happy to adopt them.
Okay, that's a
really, really happy. I've got another little bantam. She's not a Peking, she's just a regular bantam, and her name's Pipsqueak. She's really little and very sweet and such a good mother hen. She takes on anything.
You got to post some of these chicken pictures. We got to. I'm loving these names. Now I have to put a beak to the what do you say? Ruffle bottom or
crinkle bum.
Crinkle bum. Yeah.
Crinkle bum.
Faces to these names now. Dumpling and you got the best chicken names so far.
I have to name them, otherwise I don't remember who's who. And yeah, and I can only name them if I've identified like a physical trait or something that I can easily spot out, because sometimes they look so similar.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, I have like 3 that look almost identical. I had to band them for put the little bands on their legs for like the first few months, and then I started seeing the personality, and I was like, okay, I know who's who now.
Yeah. The personalities are interesting. Like some of my girls are they pretty headstrong, and some of them are very affectionate. And people think I'm crazy when I talk about my chickens and their personalities and their quirks. People think I'm nuts, but I know the girls. They're all unique. They have their personalities.
You're right. This is a safe space to talk about chicken. That's what this is for. This is a safe chicken people space where we can talk about our chickens and there's no judgment because I'm going to do the same.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And like the girls at my office, they all think I'm a little bit crazy if it's been like a soggy morning or whatever, and I've had to clean out the chicken. I've actually gone into my office one day wearing rubber gumboots because I had to clean out the chicken coop in the morning, and I forgot to change shoes. I just had to rush.
It happens. I usually do the exact opposite. I'll come from work and then start doing chicken stuff or animal cleanup in my work clothes or in good clothes. And I look down and I'm like, these shoes were not made for this.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I love that you've got all these animals, and like I love how you care for them. Oh, I thoroughly enjoy your posts on Facebook. It makes me feel like part of a different community, because over here living in the city or in suburbia, because we're not really rural or agricultural, not everybody's kind of on the same page or has that same sort of appreciation for it. Yeah,
Right.
so I get to
I love
enjoy it
too.
on
I love
social
it too.
media.
I love it. It's like it makes the world a little smaller in a good way. Like we're all kind of connected. You're all the way in Australia right now, and I'm in the United States, and we're having a chicken conversation. And in real life, we would have never met had it not been for social media and these chicken posts.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. When I told the girls at work that what I was doing this morning, that's why I'm working from home, they all looked at me like I was a little bit odd. I said, well, if you don't have chickens, you're not going to understand.
Nope. We're in a secret society.
The secret mother cluckers.
Yep, the secret mother cluckers. We're gonna make shirts and I'm gonna send them to everybody.
That's cute. Did you notice, like, your girls' eggs?
Mhm.
Look, we're not really big on eating eggs, and we never have been, but on the odd occasion, we'll eat eggs. And I found, like, my girls' eggs taste so much nicer than
Yes.
store-bought, because my girls don't get any steroids or
Mhm.
antibiotics or hormones or anything. And because they're mostly free range, they
Mhm.
get chicken feed and they get scraps as well, but they eat a lot of bugs and grubs and all sorts. The eggs just are a lot nicer in
Yeah,
flavor
yeah.
to me.
They are. They look more vibrant.
Yes,
Especially when you crack them open. The yolks aren't as runny as store bought.
yes,
And yeah,
yes.
I agree. I think 100% our eggs are better. We don't do any steroids and just regular feed, and we use a Purina feed. It's really good, and scratch grain, and then they pasture. They're in the dirt all day searching for bugs and grubs.
Oh, I love that. I love that. My girls are so funny. They're very nosy. Like if anyone pulls up into my driveway, they're there. And we've often had like the postman when he's doing a parcel delivery. They often come in a little van, and he often he'll walk up to the door and pop the parcel at the door, and he often leaves his door open. And given half a chance, one of my chickens will hop into the van.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
They're
about right.
very nosy. And our next door neighbor, he's got a earth moving, or I don't know, he's got all sorts of earth moving equipment there, and he's often leveling some of his land, and there's always upturned dirt. And I
Mm-hmm.
swear to goodness, as soon as I open my chicken coop, that's where my girls go, straight next door.
And no, it's a buffet.
Yeah, they're in the scratch patch and all that. And my neighbor, he doesn't like birds at all. He does not do birds. So he's very tolerant of the girls.
Mhm.
He'll shoo them along if he needs to do something outside, but most of the time he just lets them be.
That's
We
pretty.
actually thinking of this neighbor, I think it was last year, I had in my aviary, I had 12. I think at the time it was 12 Japanese quail, and I had 4 little king quails and
Mhm.
parakeets and all that. And we buried the sides of it about 30, 40 centimeters underground and put the netting and double chicken mesh and everything on the sides just to make it fox proof and snake
Yes.
proof.
Very good protection.
If only. Somehow a carpet python still got in.
Wow.
I don't know, like a carpet python's pretty big. I mean, they're not exactly very aggressive, but it's still frightening to come across if you're not expecting it.
Right.
And I went into the aviary to just do whatever poultry chores, I suppose, I had to do. And I looked in the hutch and there was this python all curled up with 3 lumps in its body.
Eggs. Stealing eggs.
No, he stole
Chickens?
3 quail.
Wow. Oh,
I
yeah.
was really annoyed. I have no idea how he got in though, but anyway. So I went to my husband was away at work, so couldn't ask him to move the snake. Go next door to my neighbor. I said to him, "Oh, could you go and remove a snake for me?"
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, I don't do birds." So he's not going to go into the aviary. Go to the other neighbor. Said to the neighbor, "Can you come and help me remove a snake from the aviary?" He's like, "I don't do snakes."
Sheesh.
So anyway, my next door neighbor's wife, lovely Monique, she came over with a shovel and she helped me remove the snake.
Wow, look at those ladies. We call that women power. Look at the girl power getting together.
Oh, but luckily a carpet python, he's not aggressive. They're pretty chilled. You just move them along. But you have to relocate them, otherwise they just come straight back.
Oh, that makes a whole lot of sense because they know where the food is.
I know. My aviary was like a all-you-can-eat buffet.
Sorry to hear that, but that is one of those stories. I mean, if you got chickens, most likely you're gonna run into snakes if every once in a while or here and there.
Do you struggle with snakes?
I have been so lucky I haven't. So there was one snake that got at one of my ducklings. And then ever since then I've been on like snake patrol. So I put cayenne pepper, that red pepper, down all around my coops and around the enclosures. And if snakes slither through that pepper, they hate it. They just get right on because I guess it goes right through their skin and it stings. I'm assuming that's what happens, and they hate it.
Well, that's really interesting to know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you have ducks.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. My daughter wants us to get ducks, and I'm not really sure if it's something we should do right now.
Okay, I have mixed feelings on ducks. I think ducks are waterproof, beautiful chickens, but they make so much mess. I wouldn't recommend more than 2 ducks for like pet ducks, right? Unless you have like a lake or something that they can go in and have the time of their life and then come back to you. I don't really recommend it because it's a few things that happens with ducks. So one, they need to clean off their feathers every day, right? So they have to get submerged into water. And if you don't have a pool or something, you got to have a pool or something. But when they do that, they mess the water up every day. So you have to change it every day, right? Oh. And if it gets cold, then it's winter, right? So then you have to provide them, bring like water buckets out every day so they can have fresh water, and they're going to mess it up. I don't mind it, but I'm like, this could be a lot for somebody who is trying to just have fun with it or just have like a hobby, like a little hobby thing or something. They just like ducks. So.
Yeah. Well, we have a dam down the bottom of our property. It's a pretty big dam, but there's eels in there, so I don't think it would go too well if we had ducks.
I am like loving this conversation because and like I said, I don't want to sound offensive at all, and I'm not trying to, but just Australia has so many things that can eat your stuff. Like, I got eels. I wouldn't have ever imagined to say I have eels in like a lake here. Maybe we might have fish or like a catfish or something. Maybe a crane will come through or something like that. But eels, another Australian thing that can just take out your flock.
Oh, the eels, we've tried to catch a couple of eels, but they're really, really hard to catch. And I think where our dam is, because it's kind of spring-fed and I actually don't know where the water originated from, but it's never run empty. So water's coming in somewhere, and it does fill up in the rainy season, and then it washes. There's an overflow, and then it like trickles down the back and into a river that runs just somewhere down there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the eel got in there, but they must be doing really, really well, because we don't even have there's a lot of estuarine birds in the area that are everywhere. There's the wild ducks,
Mhm.
like grebes, moorhen, cormorants, darters, everywhere. In every parkland, they're everywhere except our dam. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering if any of the estuarine birds are affected by the eels that are in there.
Yeah. Sounds like
But
that
yeah,
could be the case. It's one thing can change the ecosystem, so that makes sense.
yeah. Who
Mm.
knows? Don't put too much too much thought into that. We do go swim in the dam though on a hot day. We don't have a swimming pool, and it gets stinking hot over here, ridiculously hot. Sometimes it's like 40 degrees Celsius and humidity is like 80%. It's horrible.
Woo,
And
that's hot. That's
sometimes we just go and swim in the dam.
that's like
Like,
a
yeah,
sauna.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, so I want to ask you about that. So, how are the winters like there? Are they harsh winters where you are? Is it snow?
hardly
Is it okay?
nothing. No, on the East Coast where we are, it's very sort of tropical, subtropical.
Okay.
The nights in the middle, so our winter months, the calendar winter months are May, June, July. No, June, July, August. Those
Yes.
are our winter months.
Okay.
And now we're currently in autumn, but it's not at all cold. Like during the day, you can still wear shorts and a t-shirt, and maybe at night you pop on a cardigan or maybe a
Okay.
pair of socks.
And this
Um,
is winter you're talking about. This is
this
the
is our
winter.
winter
Winter. Oh
on
wow. I didn't know this.
yeah, in the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Brisbane, which is about an hour's drive north of us, which is a river city,
Hmm.
fairly similar temperatures, but it might feel a bit warmer because they have higher humidity.
Okay.
But yeah, we really, really can't complain about winters here.
Okay. So
Hardly.
let me do it for all of our US listeners right now that are like me. I did the math. So about 40 degrees Celsius, about 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's super hot here. That would be very hot. So I get it. Okay. I
Yeah,
understand.
that's thankfully not every day.
Right.
So if I look at just the weather app on my phone now, where I am, so today's maximum is 26 degrees Celsius. It's currently overcast.
Okay. That's
Yeah, so it's
awesome.
26
That's
degrees.
78. And this is autumn.
Yes.
So that would be 78 degrees Fahrenheit here. I would love that in autumn here. So
Oh,
we do,
it really is lovely.
it can get low here. This is considered south, right? In the United States. I'm in the south, which has a milder winter and it's a shorter winter. So it's about 3 months. So really like I guess the heat of it is I mean the I guess the bulk of it is December, January, February rolling into March. And we can see temperatures around and this is mild in the US, right? About -10, -13. We got down really low. And let me do that to Celsius. Let me see. -10. That would be -23 Celsius. So we've gotten around that temperature. And it was not happy times for me going out trying to feed chickens and goats and ducks and rabbits and everything else. It didn't feel like a bad time, but I just don't like the cold at all.
Oh, no, thank you. You can keep the cold.
So no, thank you.
Mm-mm.
Right.
No, you can keep that cold. Thank you very much. I hate the cold. I grew up in South Africa,
Hmm.
and the town I grew up in had, well, what we considered miserable winters, where you'd be at school at like 7:30 in the morning, and it's like 0 degrees Celsius, and to us that was miserable. So you're going below zero, and no, that's almost unfathomable.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Exactly.
thank you. You can
No,
keep it.
thank you. I don't want it either. Somebody else can have it. Please take it with you. I don't want it either.
Well, we're pretty lucky where we are, but not all of Australia. I mean, Australia is a massive country as well,
Yes.
not quite as large as the United States, but it's still a big country, and the climate diversity is also immense. So southern states will have get snow in winter and stuff. And then you got the tropical far north, which is my summer all the year round, really hot, humid conditions. And then, of course, inland you got the desert and all sorts.
You got a good mix of pretty much different things in different places. That's like here, like out west, it's more desert, and then up north it's colder. South it's hotter. It's a pretty good mix.
I also wanted to ask you, how do your dogs go with like your livestock and all that around? Have you ever had like any arguments with your dogs chasing chickens or killing a chicken or something?
Yeah, we've had a challenge. We had a challenge with one German Shepherd puppy, and she got into my coop once and she destroyed it, and she killed about 4 chickens. And then we realized she had a high prey drive, so we had to rehome her. But her mom, and it's really funny because I've had her mom for like 8 years. She's never harmed a chicken. I've had chickens take treats out of this dog's mouth and everything. And she's a 78-pound German Shepherd. You know what I mean? She doesn't mind the chickens at all. We've introduced a new livestock protection dog to the flock and the goats and stuff. And she's a big puppy. She's about 80 pounds. She's not even fully grown. And this is a Great Pyrenees dog, and she's great with the animals. She chased a duck twice. I think she thought it was a squeaky toy or something, but it's since then it's worked out. Everybody's pretty calm around the chickens. Mostly I get the chickens bullying the dogs for food. That's what I get. That's mostly the chickens bully everybody for food, including the ponies and the goats.
I love that. That's funny. I have 2 cattle dogs, Australian cattle dogs.
Yes.
They're pretty good. They're very tolerant of the chickens. However, if a chicken happens to go into the back garden, which is theirs, then I'm afraid.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending, but we purposefully built a backyard for the dogs. So the chickens don't go in there. We did have one of our cream leg bars go in there. Her name was Wednesday. And she had an unfortunate demise, I'm afraid, courtesy of my dogs. I used to have a cattle dog. She died of tick paralysis a few years ago, which is something, I don't know if you have that over there. We have ticks that are called paralysis ticks, and they inject like a toxin which paralyzes. It's like a neurotoxin, and it's awful, and very few animals survive tick paralysis. I don't know if you have that over there.
We I guess our version of it would be Lyme disease, ticks that carry Lyme disease, and then if they bite something and they pass the disease, it can be debilitating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, tick paralysis is something different. It can also affect humans, but this particular dog who died of tick paralysis, she used to get into the chicken feed. And she would love eating chicken feed. She got so constipated one night. Well, obviously over time, but we only identified it one night. She was ridiculously constipated from eating all this chicken feed. Put her in the emergency animal hospital for a few days, and it cost us thousands of dollars just for a few enemas and some fluid therapy. Yeah, absolutely absurd.
That is, I have a goat that loves chicken feed, and I can't keep it terrible because she can't digest the chicken feed the way she's supposed to. So it's always going to be a vet bill every time she gets into the chicken feed, and she doesn't just nibble it; she devours it. So I understand your pain. I love those cats, though. My daughter wants me to get one because she's a Bluey fan, so she wants a Bingo and.
I happen to have a Bluey and a Bingo because I have a red cattle dog and a blue cattle dog.
If you could please send me a picture so I can show my daughter. She's 7. Bluey's like her favorite thing, and she would love to see the real life Bluey and Bingo.
Indeed, I absolutely will. They're really, really good dogs. I believe cattle dogs the Australian cattle dog has been introduced in the United States for agricultural purposes and crossbred with a border collie, and I believe it's called a Texas Healer.
Yeah, Texas Healer. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure you'd be able to get a cattle dog somewhere over there if you really wanted to.
I'm
I
trying to
cannot
afford
vouch for them
like,
highly enough. They're really good dogs.
okay.
Really, really good dogs. And they're hardy. They tolerate, very smart. And they
Mm,
don't grow really big in size. They about, well, my two are small. They're about the size of about a collie, a border collie, a little bit smaller.
okay.
But really smart, really, really hardy dogs. And we don't struggle with any kind of ailments like hip dysplasia or
Mhm.
any genetic sort of things that often come with
Purebred
significant
dogs.
selective breeding. We don't struggle with any of that, and they really are good, loyal companions. But they shed though.
Okay. I deal with that now. I had two very, very hairy dogs and shit. So I get it. I get it, man. I really appreciate this conversation. This is really giving me so much insight to like, what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like I've taken a virtual trip to Australia. I've learned so many things today.
You honestly, you're more than welcome. If ever you happen to be down under and on the East Coast, by all means, let me know. You've always got somewhere to stay.
I love it. I love it. I do have a question. Are there any things that you like use, or any, I guess, products that you use, that you found that you really like with your aviary, with your chickens or birds?
Nothing per se. I did find that the girls tend to, at one stage, they were getting a lot of mites,
Mm,
which was at one stage really problematic. There was these clusters on their feathers,
mm,
and I got from a stock feed, I got a little syringe with like a mite sort of, I don't know, treatment or something. Then
mhm.
we just put it on the tail, that dock, a few drops,
Mhm.
and we would put a bit of diatomaceous earth in the sawdust, well, the
Yes.
wood shavings, and that kind of that helped. I have found that coccidiosis can
Yes.
affect the chickens quite profusely in summer. I don't know
Mm,
why summer particularly, but putting edible fossil shell flour
mhm.
um, in with their feed, just like half a teaspoon to about a 5 kilo bag of mix, seems
Okay.
to clear that right up. But anything else, no, I'm terribly ignorant because we
No,
don't
no,
really
no.
struggle with anything because it's
Yeah.
not cold, it's not,
Mhm.
yeah, and the girls really are free range and they just do their chicken thing.
They find what they need while they're out shopping.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You said like three things, and I was able to identify them. We use diatomaceous earth as well, to keep the mites down and things of that nature. And then you said the fossil shell dust. So that will be oyster shells here. We use that.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep. So that's
And I
pretty.
do find that the girls, they seem to love anything that's got garlic in it because they
Hmm.
do get
Yeah.
table scraps and something with garlic. They just seem to favor that a lot more. I don't know why.
Okay. Cool. All right. Last two questions. Is
Sure.
there a particular like feed or agricultural store you go to? Is there a specific brand out there? Like here, we use a lot of people use Tractor Supply here.
Okay. Um, oh, there's many brands on the market. I just go down to the local stock feed place. It's just down the road, not far. And I normally just get a bag of mixed grain, the uncrushed, because the girls, they don't like the pellets. I just get mixed grain. That's it.
You got some fancy ladies. My girls, they like the pellets more than they like the crumble. So that okay. All
So
right.
I just give them mixed grain and the sorghum free because if there's sorghum in it, they'll eat the sorghum only and then leave the rest. So I get,
Mm,
and sorghum has almost no nutritional value. So yeah.
got you. And last question.
Mm?
This is a selfish question. If I come to Australia, what is like give me three things I have to do. If I come to your area, what do I have to do besides come visit you and see the 12 acres and help you get a snake out if I need to? What do I have to do there?
Oh, there's just so much. You really have to visit like our like rainforest areas on Mount Tamborine and in the hinterland. There's beautiful waterfalls. We've got superb beaches like light golden sandy beaches with beautiful, beautiful water waves. We have on the Gold Coast, we've got a massive surfing reserve. There's just so much to do. There's almost, where do I begin? We've got massive theme parks as well with all your rides and everything.
Okay.
There's a lot to do here.
I need to come to Australia. That's what it sounds like. I had to just come to
Yeah.
figure it out.
A lot of people actually travel around. They buy an old shitbox car, like an old
Mm.
station wagon, and just travel around doing odd jobs while they're traveling, and just use the car as a camper if they need to, and just see as much as what they can in 12 months. And then at the end, just sell the shitbox car.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Sounds like they're living the dream. I don't know who would feed my chickens for that long, but I could probably do a good week or two.
Your neighbor might have to lend a hand.
Might have to. I have to pay them generously in eggs and such.
Indeed. Sounds like an excellent idea.
There it is. On that note, I will let you go. I appreciate it. That 45 minutes felt like 5. Thank you so much for your time. This has been a
Thank you,
joy.
Reese. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Have a good week. All the best.
You too. I just had our first EggCellent Adventures from Down Under, courtesy of Des and her 12 acres. Thanks so much again.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of EggCellent Adventures, powered by Blackyard Chickens.